Hi guys, we're getting ready to start Chapter 9 of A to Z Mysteries, Colossal Fossil, Super Edition 10 by Ron Roy. I'm going to start with a picture. Oh, it's really cool. Seeing all the details. Chapter 9. After the kids were in the lab, Trevor closed the door and leaned against it. He folded his thick arms over his chest. Okay, ask away, he said. We're trapped, Dink thought, and there were no windows. Why did you become a scientist? Josh asked Trevor. I like to study things, Trevor answered. I want to know what makes the universe work. I like to solve problems. Dink looked around the room. Everything was white and very clean, like a hospital. On top of a stainless steel table, he saw a microscope, bottles filled with different colored liquids, and a long bone. Next to the bone was a row of sharp knives. You told Dink you were a detective once, Josh said. Trevor nodded. I studied criminology in college, he said. Thought I'd have fun catching bad guys, but it wasn't much fun at all. Now I study old bones and try to imagine what the real beast looked like, what it ate, and how it lived and died. Dink glanced at Trevor's neatly combed black hair. Did 3 of those hairs end up on my shirt? He wondered. Did Trevor shove the fake diamond under the heavy board? Did you learn how to take fingerprints when you were a detective? Ruth Rose asked. Yep. Dink took a deep breath, then asked his question. Can you tell where a hair came from? I mean, like, from a certain man or woman? Sometimes, Trevor said. It depends on how complete the hair is. The shaft of the hair is the part we can see. On our heads, the shafts are what we shampoo and comb. But under the scalp, on the end of each hair shaft, there's something called a follicle. The follicle has a tiny bulb that attaches the shaft to the skin. Scientists can study a follicle to learn a lot about the person the hair came from. Dink took the paper towel from his pocket and laid it on the table. He unwrapped it so they could see all the black hair against the white paper. Then he took the first 3 hairs from the anagram book and laid them next to the others on the paper towel. Where'd you get those? Trevor asked. Dink blinked. He didn't want to lie. They're part of a mystery we're trying to solve, Ruth Rose said. We love mysteries. It's sort of a hobby for us. Dink swallowed. Thank you, Ruth Rose. Trevor picked up the paper towel and held it close to his eyes. He said. He stepped over to the microscope and slid the hairs onto a little glass tray. He sat in a chair and adjusted the microscope while looking through the eyepiece at the hairs. I thought so, he said. Come, take a look. Dink moved over and Trevor stood up. Kneel in the chair so you can see, he told Dink. Keep both eyes open, but put one against the little rubber cup. Dink followed Trevor's instructions. At first all he saw was a dark blur. It looks all fuzzy, he said. Trevor adjusted a knob. Better? He asked. Dink pulled back. Yes! One of the hair looks like a tree branch with bark, he said. I can see the follicle thing on the end. The other 3 hairs are different. They're smoother. Trevor smiled. He removed the 4 hairs and placed them back on the paper towel. Finding hairs at a crime scene is one way detectives can arrest the right person, he explained. They compare the follicles and shafts. Only one of the 4 hairs you gave me is from a human head. Trevor folded the paper towel and handed it back to Dink. The other 3 aren't even real hair, he said. They're man-made, which means they don't have follicles and never grew out of skin. The 3 kids just stared at him. Then where did they come from? Ruth Rose asked. Trevor shrugged. Probably from an article of clothing, he said. Gloves, a jacket, a fake fur collar, maybe. A thought was buzzing around in Dink's brain, like a bee in a bottle. The kids thanked Trevor and left the lab. Well, Mr. Detective, Josh said to Dink, what did you think? Did Trevor's eyes tell you he stole the river diamond? He could have, Dink said, but now we know the hairs you found on my shirt aren't Trevor's hairs. They aren't anyone's hairs, Ruth Rose said. They're fake, like the diamond is fake. The kids walked through the spinal room. Dink stopped and gazed up at Spino's head, which almost touched the ceiling. The workers were sitting together, taking a coffee break. He saw it all, Dink said. Josh was standing next to Dink. Who, Trevor? He asked. No, Spino, Dink said. He saw what really happened last night before the alarm went off. Spino saw who shoved the ladder making the plank fall on top of the diamond case. Spino saw who stole the river diamond and left the fake one. Too bad dinosaurs can't talk like the ones in the movie last night, Josh said. Ruth Rose walked over to the river diamond exhibit. But we don't know for sure this is a fake, she said, peering through the dome. Couldn't it be the real river diamond? Alex is wrong? Dink joined her and looked through the dome. I think Alex is right, he said. The plank couldn't scratch a real diamond, but it could scratch a fake one. And this one definitely has a scratch on the side. Now we just have to figure out how fake hairs got on the plank, Ruth Rose said. Even if they're not human hairs, Josh said, they still could have dropped off a human. How? Ruth Rose asked. Josh shrugged. Maybe the thief works in a place that makes fake fur coats, he said. He might have some of the fake fur on his body. Or maybe the crook was wearing gorilla gloves when he moved the plank too. Oh my gosh! Dink said. Nog was wearing a caveman costume. The wig, the beard, they were curly, but that coat thing had straight black hair all over it. I'll bet it was fake fur. And that's the end of chapter 9. See you guys again next time.